Hi, this is a video on fractions. I am going to go through a number of examples of using BODMAS or BIDMAS pretty much as the order of operation. So let's go through the order of operation to start with. First of all, we need to do brackets if there are brackets, whoever is inside the brackets first. And then we need to think about power or index. Then multiply and divide before adding and subtracting. So first example, we have 1/5 bracket 2/3 plus 4/9. So looking at the order of operation, we need to do whatever is inside the bracket first. So now we need to do 2/3 plus 4/9. In order to add two fractions, we need to have the same denominator. In order to make the same denominator, since this is a multiple of that, we are going to time 3 by 2 by 3 to make 9, and we do the same at the top. We do the same with the numerator. So then 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9. So we are using equivalent fractions here. So now we've got the same denominator, we keep the same denominator and we add the numerator. So 2/3 plus 4/9 is 10/9. Now, so we have 1/5 bracket 10/9, which means we're going to time that by 10/9. A number times in front of a bracket is always the same as a times. So now when we time two fractions, we time numerator with the numerator, 1 times 10, 10, and denominator with the denominator, 4 times 9 is 45. Now always simplify if you can simplify. Now they are both in the 5 timetable, so how many 5 goes in 10? 2. How many 5 goes in 45? 9, and this is the final answer. Second example, we have 3/7 of this. Right, again we've got brackets, so we need to do what inside the brackets first. 3/8 minus 1/4. Again, same, we've got different denominators, so we cannot actually subtract yet. So we need to make them the same denominator. This is a multiple of that. In order to make 4 an 8, we need to time the 4 by 2 to make an 8. And since we time the denominator by 2, we have to time the numerator as well. So 3/8 minus 2, 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 2 is 8. So we have 3/8 minus an 8, 2/8. So we keep the same denominator and we take away the numerator. 3 take away 2 is 1. So that is 1/8. Now we have 3/7 of means times by. So 3/7 times 1/8. 3, the same as we've done there, so we time the numerator with the numerator, so 3 times 1 is 3, 7 times 8 is 56. And they are not in the same timetable, so this is the final answer. Next example, we have 1/2 of the bracket. So again, we need to do what's in the bracket first. So we have 1 3/4 plus 2/5. Right, we've got a mixed number adding plus a fraction. So we need to change the mixed number into a top-heavy fraction. In order to do that, we need to do 4 times the whole number, the number on its own, and then add the numerator. So it'll be 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3 is 7. So what I've done there is 4 times the number on its own, so 4 times 1, and then I added the numerator. So 4 times 1 is 4 plus 3, 7. And then I'm going to add 2/5. Now, different denominator, we need to make the same denominator. They are not a multiple of each other, so I am going to time them by each other. And I'm going to time this one by 5 and this one by 4. Since I timed the 1 by 5, I time the 1 by 5. Since I times this one by 4, I times the numerator by 4. So 7 times 5, 35, 4 times 5, 20. 2 times 4, 8. 5 times 4, 20. Now I've got the same denominator. Keep the same denominator and add the numerator. Now this is that. And I'm going to do a half of times that. Numerator time, when we time two fractions, we time the numerator with the numerator. 1 times 43 is 43. 2 times 20 is 40. Now, this is a top-heavy fraction. I want to leave my answer as a mixed number. How many times does the denominator goes into the numerator? How many 40 goes in 43? 1. What's the remainder? 3. And the denominator stays the same. And that's the final answer. Two more examples before we start with past papers. Here we have 2/3 plus 2 4/5 divided by 1 and 3/8. So I've got an addition sign and a divide sign. If I go back to my order of operation, divide comes before addition, so I need to do this first. So I've got 2 and 4/5 divided by 1 and 3/8 first. To change both of them into a top-heavy fraction. 5 times 2 plus 4, 8 times 1 plus 3. So 5 times 2, 10, plus 4, 14, over 5, divided by 8 times 1 is 8, plus 3, 11. Now, in order to divide two fractions, I need to keep the first one, change the sign, and flip the second one. So now we have 14 times 8 is 112, 5 times 11 is 55. We're dealing with big numbers, but this is this. So now we have 2/3 plus 112 over 55. They are not in the same timetable, so I need to times them from each other. So I need to times this one by 55 and this one by 3. This one by 55, this one by 3. So now 55 times 2 is 110 over 55 times 3 is 165. 112 times 3 is 336. 55 times 3, 165. I keep the same denominator and I added the numerator. So 110 plus 336 is 446. So I need to look at how many 165 goes in 446, and the answer is 2. 165, we said, is 330. What's the remainder? 116 over 165, and that's the final answer. Last example is a show that question. Show that 6/7 divided by 4 is 3/14. So we start with 6/7 divided by 4. When we divide by a whole number, we know that this one is the same as a 4 over 1. So now we have two fractions. 6/7 divided by 4 over 1. Keep, change, flip. Keep the first one. Change the divide by, change the sign to a times, and flip the second. Now multiply the numerator with the numerator. 6 times 1 is 6. 7 times 4 is 28. Now we can simplify because they're both in the totem table. How many 2 goes in 6? 3. How many 2 goes in 28? 14. That's the final answer, which is the one being given in the question. Now I'm going through a number of past papers. So I've got 4 past paper questions and then a show that question at the bottom. I show that question at the bottom. So first example we have is 3/8 times 1 and 5/7. So we need to change that into a top-heavy fraction. 7 times 1 is 7. plus 5 is 12. So that is 1 and 5/7 is 12/7. So now we have 3/8 times 12/7. Numerator with the numerator, 3 times 12 is 36. 8 times 7 is 56. They are both in the 4 timetable. How many 4 goes in 36? 9. How many 4 goes in 56? And that's the final answer. 1 and 5/6 divided by 3/4 is the next example. We have a mixed number we need to change to a top heavy fraction. So 1 and 5/6. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 5 is 11/6. So that is 11/6. Change the sign and flip the second one. Time the numerators and the denominators. Now they are both in the 2 timetables. How many 2 goes in 44? 22. How many 2 goes in 18? 9. And that is the final answer. Example, we've got 2 and a third plus 4/5. So we need to change 2 and a third into a top heavy fraction. So 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1, 7. So that's 7/3. And now we have to add 4/5. Different denominator, so we need to times them by each other, since one is not a multiple of another. So we times that by that, and that by this. So since we times this one by 5, we need to time the numerator by 5. Since we times the 5 by 3, we need to time the numerator by also by 3. So now 7 times 5 is 35, 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 3 is 12, 5 times 3 is 15. Now I've got the same denominator, keep the same denominator and add the numerator. 35 plus 12 is 47. We cannot simplify because they're not in the same timetable, but this is a top heavy fraction. We want to give you the answer as a mixed number. So many 15 that goes in 47, and the answer is 3, because 3/15 is 45, remainder is 2, and the denominator stays the same. And that's the final answer. One more example, 3/4 bracket that. So we need to do this first. 1/3 plus 2/7. Different denominator, time by each other. Since we times this one by 7, we times the numerator by 7. Since we times this denominator by 3, we have to times the numerator by 3. 1 times 7 is 7. 3 times 7 is 21. 2 times 3 is 6. 7 times 3 is 21. Same denominator, keep the same denominator, add the numerator. So that is 13/21. Let's finish this. When we've got something in front of a bracket is same as a times. So 3/4 times 13/21. Numerator with numerator, 3 times 13 is 39. 4 times 21 is 84. They are in the same timetable. They are both in the 3 timetable. So how many 3 goes in 39? 13. How many 3 goes in 84? 28. And that's the final answer. Now, final example, final past paper question. We've got to show that question 1 1/5 times 2 1/3 has to be 2 4/5. So let's change that to a top heavy fraction. Times 5 plus 1. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1, 6. So that's 6/5. 2 1/3. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1, 7. So that's 7/3. times between them. So we've got 6 fifth times 7 third. Multiply numerator with numerator and denominator with denominator. So 6 times 7 is 42. 5 times 3 is 15. Can we simplify? They're both in the 3 time table, so how many 3 goes in 42? The answer is 14. How many 3 goes in 15? And the answer is 5. Now we want to change this to a mixed number. How many 5 goes in 14? 2. 2 5s is 10. What's the remainder? 4. And the denominator stays the same. Here you go. We have proved that this is the correct answer. If you need any more clarification, if you want me to go through more example, more past papers, let me know. If you've got any specific question, I will try to answer. I will make more videos. Thank you.